And he's like, I don't know what they're doing in there. And then we get a fucking awesome scene, chat, because we cut back to the convoy, the main truck, and we see this fucking truck birth a tank, chat. This tank just bursts out of it. And Judge is like, oh, hell, they got a tank. And it's like, wait, what? What? Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games, I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video. But yeah, we got to go ahead and get back to my review, my scene by scene breakdown to Fast and Furious 6. Now, chat, before I go into very nitty-gritty specific details, I must ask you a very important question. That question being, how many of you have seen Fast and Furious 6, chat? The fourth film directed in the franchise by Justin Lin. Be curious about this. New York's, I have not. I still have most of my brain cells. Oh, join us. Ignore the brain cells. They don't matter. They don't matter anymore. Join us, Darkslayer. Join us. Gooble gobble, one of us. Ty, thank you for staying your gifted soul all the way through July. It's so kind of you. Thank you. You have a lot of confidence in me. Chris Ayers, yes. Rocket Birdie, nope. Fat Boy, the only Fast one I skip. Really interesting. Alex Manol, I have not. Axel, I have not. Wow, Casvay, not yet. Stranger Shoe, Ben Hana, Tyrese has yet to grace my eyes. It's true. The CZ Man I have, and I kind of liked it. Hamilton Burger, I've not seen it. Wow, so this is okay. Like, mixture of people who have and have not seen it, but leaning towards not having seen it. Very interesting. Marvel Buff Nerd, seen it. Ed Man, Thief Man, Come to Man, not me. All right, wow, I'm kind of surprised by this. Interesting, chat. Sub-Zero kicks accent. Yes, he does. He does indeed. Yeah, no, yeah, and then he gets sucked into a fucking jet engine. We'll talk about it. I've studied 1 to 8 Busta. Lucky Dog Podcast. Hey, don't call me no Busta, okay, Busta? All right, I've seen these movies. I've seen them all, baby. Well, except for the exception of Better Luck Tomorrow. But it's kind of like a, you know, a weird, it wasn't really a spin-off, but now it is technically a spin-off of Fast and Furious. It was kind of retroactively put into the franchise because it features the character of Han, of course, chat. Han. Man, I feel sorry for Han, chat. I never, honestly, what happens to someone, I'm like, okay, that happened. But Han's reaction killed me. It's like, oh, God. Oh, God, no. I felt sadder based on his reaction, the actual thing that happened, which says a lot. Oh, Lord, chat. Here's someone brought me back in. I think for a lot of people, like, so, to tell you, chat, so, you know, at this point, Fast and Furious, I will say, though, like, people are like, it's not really about the races, it's not about the cars anymore. This movie has more racing in it than Fast 5, because that was like Fast 5 is, I think, well-regarded. It's typically looked at as, like, in the top 3 Fast and Furious movies, if not number 2, if not number 1 for a lot of people. But one criticism that the movie got, which I think is a fair criticism, overall, I really enjoy the movies, you guys know. I did my review yesterday for it. Please do check it out. And it doesn't really have that much racing. As a matter of fact, they skip a whole race. But they have some great action sequences, great chase sequences. Because that's when the franchise went, okay, we're no longer a drag racing, just straight up racing movie, okay? We are very much an action kind of heist series, and then moving on into this one like a spy series, and definitely in the 7 into a spy series, there's no question. This one is kind of like that bridge between, like, we're a group of criminals who perform heists, but now we're dealing with international espionage and mercenaries and things like that. I will say, like, this movie brings the races back. There are several races. There's a lot of great sequences involving cars. I mean, they're pretty spectacular. You get like a really good race between Dom and Letty. And then the last third of this movie, I think, is probably, it might be the strongest last third. I don't know. It's between this and 7 in terms of, like, what has the stronger last third chance. Pretty goddamn good. And it brings back the principal cast from 5, Chad. I mean, it's the family returning for another goddamn job organized by, Dwayne The Rock Johnson's Luke Hobbs, Chad, and his partner, Gina Carano. And it's great in that regard. Everyone's chemistry, much like in Fast Five, it works really well. They don't bring back the two Dominican Republic brothers. They don't have them in five. Which I'm like, I didn't really miss them, to be honest. I don't know. I don't feel they do enough of them throughout the series. But I mean, they were fine. They were funny though. They were funny in five. But no, the chemistry's all on point. Kind of the big whole gist of this movie is going after Letty, who somehow survived death from the fourth film, chat. But watching it again, I'm like, shit. I don't know. I kind of feel like I might like Fast and Furious 6 more than 5 now. I don't know. Like, just watch them so close together. If anything, maybe 5 has a little better pacing, I will say. Like, 6, I'm like, I kind of feel the length of 6 like a little bit. Like, I feel like you could shave off maybe a little bit of screen time, and I'm like, all right, the running time, I should say. I was like, I think it would be a lot better, but it's like super close to me where I'm like, I honestly, if you're like, which one do I have to rank 1, 2? It's like, I kind of would go back and forth because they're both really entertaining, really fun. Like, the only weak point is, I guess, of the movie, and it's not even the actor's fault. I also think they just give him like enough like cool scenes to show off his villainy. But that's Luke Evans as Owen Shaw. He's just kind of there. I mean, he does some. I mean, there's some cool scenes with him in them and everything in regards to the tank and the plane. But there's just something about him that's not as menacing. Whereas with Jason Statham is just like a fucking one-man war machine. Like, there's something about Jason Statham that just works in 7 and why he's like, to me, the best villain in the franchise so far, which is now a hero now. But like, yeah, I don't know. But Owen Shaw, he's probably the weakest point in the film. I'm like, yeah, I don't really. I mean, what your team does, and you're all mercenaries, and you're performing all these fucking heists and all these various jobs around the world. Like, that's cool, but like, he's just not. I don't know. He doesn't have the charisma, I think. He's not a bad actor. He's really not a bad actor at all. But I don't know. I just don't think they gave him enough cool things for him to say in something. It's like what he did was cool, but everything he was saying, his interaction with his team, his interactions with the family, it's like there was something just missing there. While I was with Jason Statham, I think because just Jason Statham made, even like when Owen Shaw does something like really fucking personal, it's like, oh shit, you a buster, Owen. I don't know. I'm just like, but they'll figure it out. But with Jason Statham, like what he fucking pulls in that movie, and how they retcon that with everything with Han, that's more intimidating. But yeah, if I had to say anything, this is that's the one I think weakness of this film. It's just like, yeah, Owen Shaw's like an okay villain, he's just superseded by his brother, Deckard Shaw, played by Jason Statham. But overall, chat, this is a really entertaining movie. The action is this might be. I mean. The safe scene in Fast 5 is so goddamn good, but that tank scene and that ending plane scene is so much fun. It's really hard for me to decide which I like more. So they're kind of fighting for first place, both of them. I don't know where I'll land. Maybe I'll come up with a decision when I see 7, because 6 and 7 almost happen like immediately after each other. So, but it's great. It's so much fun seeing Lindelof as director of each. No, he really does. Like, he's so good in this. His cinematographer's doing such a great job, Chad. Like, this really is like kind of a love letter to London, if you will. And it's great. I'm very impressed with this movie, Chad. Like, I have a few minor criticisms I already said about like Owen Shaw. He's just kind of there for the most part. Sadly, like a lot of the villains in the Fast and Furious franchise are just kind of there. Like Deckard Shaw and I guess Hobbs, I count as a villain in Fast 5. Like, they're the only really big standouts for me. Well, obviously with the exception of course, gravity, logic, and physics. Those are all the ultimate villains. That's the ultimate trio of villains, Chad. The triage, if you will, of villains in the Fast and Furious franchise. But no, Deckard, Shaw, and Hobbs to me have always been like really goddamn great as bad guys, if you want to consider them that, in their respective introductory movies. Obviously, they're not bad guys anymore. But apparently, Chad, a lot of people like Fast and Furious 6 because it made $788.7 million of the time of its release, Chad, which was in 2013. It was the highest grossing entry in the franchise. It had a budget of about between 160 to 260 million. So if they're 100 million, everyone's like, where the hell the 100 million went? I don't know. But this is an expensive movie, you can tell, because Justin Lin, and more power to him. Like, he's that kind of guy. Apparently takes criticism pretty well, because he was criticized in Fast and Furious 4, which I actually like Fast and Furious 4. It's an entertaining movie, but there's a lot of CGI and CGI car races and car scenes. It's like, I don't really like too much CGI. People complain about it, and he's like, okay, well, shit, I'm going to go ahead and do more practical stuff. And the practical stuff he does in Fast 5 is great. The practical stuff he does in 6 is amazing. Like, the whole tank stuff, he was insistent, like, no, I want to use an actual tank, and I'm going to use CGI enhancements for these scenes. And it's like, damn, it really does help, because that tank scene, chat, like 7 going on 8 years now, that fucking thing holds up. That's an amazing sequence. And the planes is CGI heavy, but it's so much fun because so many things are happening at once in that scene. Like, you could tell, he's like, I'm just not focusing on just one action scene. I'm focusing on multiple things at the same time. And you don't feel confused. Everything just feels in sync of each other. It's like Chris Harris said, you really do see him evolve as a very good action filmmaker throughout the course of this franchise. And he's kind of come to this point. It's like, wow, man, you're nailing it. You're nailing it. So, yeah, overall, chat, really, really entertaining movie. The family's fucking back. They're kicking ass, chat. But now, my friends, we have to go ahead and get into nitty-gritty detail, chat. And the film opens up with a race between Dom and Brian O'Connor, chat. Aw, shit, here we go. Like, these two are always going at it. It's like, who's the best racer, chat? It's Dom. But Brian is a close second. Brian is a close second, chat. If I were to, like, rank the racers in the franchise, like, let's say, like, top 3 or top 4 or 5, whatever, it would obviously go, chat, it would go Dom, it would go Brian O'Connor, then it would be Han, and then after that, I would probably say Letty. Maybe Letty? Yeah, maybe Letty after Han, and then Roman Pierce. I would say those are probably the top racers in the series, chat. That at least that's how I feel. But they're racing each other, chat, and they're in like I think they're like in Mexico and Puerto Rico or Jamaica. They're somewhere south of the American border. Oh, I know that. And they're fucking racing. This opening scene is great. It's beautiful, chat, showcasing just the lovely beach and this wonderful cliffside and the jungle and the forest and everything. And they're like, oh, they're going back and forth, but they have a destination. When you realize, well, oh, they're not racing each other because they stop at this little church shit. They stop at this church and this nun comes out and it's like, oh, thank God you two have arrived just in time. And Brian's like, how's me? And she's like, well, she's having the baby. It's like, oh shit, chat. Brian O'Connor's wife, Dominic Toretto's bro sister, is having a baby. Remember, she was pregnant. She's like, oh, I'm so fucking pregnant. Brian, bring me buttered noodles. And he's like, okay, honey. And now she's ready to pop, chat. She's about to front poop out a big old baby, a big old butter noodle eating baby. And fucking Dom is like, you'll be a good father, Brian. And Brian just looks at Dom and goes, huh? Like, so confused. It's like Fast and Furious 1, Brian. Because sometimes he has those looks. Sometimes Paul Walker will go back to the that fucking goofy smile he has, like in the original film in Too Fast, Too Furious. Like, even Paul Walker, like, listen. Maybe he wasn't the greatest actor in the world, but he does get better with each entry in the franchise. He does become a better actor. His chemistry with all these people is great. Say what you will about him in other movies, sure, it's like, you know, but he's very good here. He's very good here. He's very good in Fast 5. You buy his relationship with Jordana Brewster. They feel like they love each other. It's like Dom is Vin Diesel, like his brother. All that shit is, it all feels real and authentic, chat. But he stares at Vin Diesel like, huh? And Vin Diesel goes, because if you're not, I'll kick your fucking ass. He's like, good one. And so he races in, chat, and he sees Jordana Brewster. She's like, oh, she got her thick thighs up there, and she's a push, and she's like, you did this to me. She's not happy about it, not really happy about it, chat. But she starts the birthing, and that thing just pops out of her. And then you also have Dom. You have Officer Neves, chat. Dom and Officer Neves, they're together. And Dom's like, we have another member of the family. And then, chat, we cut to a really cool opening credit sequence. This is probably the best opening credit sequence in the franchise at this point. I got to see 7 and 8 and obviously 9 and Hobbs and Shaw again to get a sense of what the other opening credits. But this one's great because it basically just shows you the story of the Fast saga so far, with the exception of Tokyo Drift. They actually make a point of not showing, at least like Lucas Black's character. They show Han, and clearly it's like, okay, that might be Tokyo Drift footage. But they don't show certain things, because Tokyo Drift takes place after the events of 6, so that hasn't happened yet, chat, because Han's like, I'm still thinking about going to Tokyo. No, Han, don't go to Tokyo. You'll die, maybe, but you're alive again. But wonderful opening credit sequences also it honors all the past films, even the bad ones, even Too Fast, Too Furious, but Fast Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, fourth Fast and Furious, Fast 5. You see, Tej, Ludacris, like his big afro and stuff. And it's like, oh, it's just really cool. You really, they all look so young. Vin Diesel, it's like, okay, like Vin Diesel, he's a good looking guy. Obviously, he stays in shape for these movies. I mean, you know, gains weight after they does these films. He needs a fucking break. Of course, who doesn't, Chad? Who doesn't? But yeah, you notice how like, well, it's nearly at this point, what, close to 15 years probably since they filmed the original Fast and Furious, and now he's even older looking. But yeah, it's quite some time, and Vin Diesel looks so goddamn young in the original movie. It's like shit. Not that he's like old and decrepit looking at all, but it's like you notice it. Even Paul Walker, that baby fat, that's gone off his face. He's lean, driving machine, chat. Who's putting babies in a Dominic Toretto's sister. But wonderful opening credit sequence. Really dug it. Just honors the franchise, and in each film. The discussion maybe Tokyo Drift because again, Justin Lin didn't want to put that in there because of the fact it doesn't come until much later. But very cool, very cool. And after this wonderful opening credit sequence, we cut, and we were introduced to fucking Special Agent DSS agent, chat, Hobbs, Luke Hobbs, and he's got a new partner, chat, Gina Carano. And Gina Carano, like, listen, God bless her, but Jesus Christ, she cannot act to save her life. It's like, she's great. I'll tell her this. I'll give her this. She is wonderful when it comes to the action scenes, like especially when she's throwing down with Michelle Rodriguez as Letty and some of the later stuff on the plane. Like, she's really good. She's really good when it comes to action. Like, the choreography is great with her, but man, she struggles to say her lines. That's just kind of how it is. It's just kind of how it is. You definitely start to see in their age, but it's cool how fans got to kind of grow up. Yeah, really. It's like, yeah, like there are kids who grew up with this film series. I mean, I guess technically I kind of did in a way. I mean, I you know, because I saw a lot of these movies, at least in the theater. So I guess in a way I did grow up with this franchise. I remember seeing the original Fast and Furious, not in the movie theater, but like on DVD, like in 2002 or something. So yeah, Han didn't age. Han, you know, the actor. I can't always forget Han's actor. Let me put some respect on Han's actor's name, chat. Sun Kang. He has not aged at all. He has aged extremely gracefully, chat. You know what? He does look older in F9. It's like, oh shit, now I can tell. But like from Tokyo Drift to like 6 and 7 looks exactly the same. It's like, wow, you don't have an age. But he definitely has aged a bit in 9. But we open up with The Rock and Gina Carano, and they're in Moscow, Russia, investigating the theft of a convoy. And we see like this scene where all these fucking cars are just absolutely destroyed. And it was like these special super duper Soviet Russian cars that were stolen. And we see like these Russian popo cars like in a building like 3 stories up. And Gina Carano's like, who the fuck could have done something like that? And The Rock is like, there's only one buster who could have done this. And then he gets a call on the radio, and it's like, sir, we have one of them. He's like, all right, take me to him. And so him and Gina Carano go to this I don't know, I guess this Russian like embassy or police station or something. And maybe it's in Germany. I forget where they go back. But they go in there, and they're like, all right, he's waiting in there for you. And he's like, all right, good, I want to talk to him. He fucking goes in there, Chen. Who do we fucking see? Whoa! Guy, he's wearing the classic fucking wife beater, chat. White wife beater, bald head. Shit, Dom, why you being a bust and stealing cars in Moscow? But it's a fake out, because the guy turns around, and it's just some random Cockney white guy. He's like, how are you? He's like, I want to talk to you. You got captured trying to take that convoy. And he's like, I have nothing to say to you. Where's my lawyer? And then The Rock goes, oh, you're not going to get a lawyer, Cookie. And he just starts grabbing him. He literally starts fucking grabbing him, chat, and just throwing him around the room. Like, and it's just a fucking mess. This guy's like, what are you doing? I have rights. You don't have any rights with me. It's like, you were breaking a lot of laws and rules, The Rock. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And like, there's like another cop watches behind the two-way mirror with Gina Carano. He's like, he can't do that. And she's like, well, you go ahead and tell him not to do that. And he just beats the shit out of this guy. He literally just throws him around the room like a fucking rag doll, throws him into the ceiling. The whole fucking ceiling comes down. He grabs him and goes, "Rah!" And he throws him in the two-way mirror, and it fucking cracks the glass. It doesn't break it, but it cracks the glass, and he falls down. He's like, wait, please. And The Rock like puts his giant, 9-foot foot on him. He's like, give me a name. He's like, okay, Jesus Christ, Owen Shaw. And Rock's like, oh shit, Owen Shaw, god damn. That's the last name he wanted to hear, chat. Owen Shaw, the greatest greatest mercenary currently alive. Ah, hell, here we go. And he's like, and he goes to Gina, and she's like, what is it? It's fucking Owen Shaw. Like, I've been tracking this guy for years. He's the best of the best of the best. And it's like, how are we going to take him down? It's like, we're not going to be able to take him down without some fucking help. I need my family. Bro, vroom, vroom, family, chat. We then cut. We cut to some Caribbean, Central American villa, chat, and where we see Vin Diesel hanging out with Officer Neves, chat, and she is butt naked. They're butt naked in bed, chat, and she's all cuddling next to Vin Diesel. You see her plump tuchus just right in the camera, like Justin Lin's like, you get the booty here. Tasteful booty. There's always booty butt throughout every single Fast and Furious film. Justin Lin has it here. It's very tasteful. It's used very well. But you see her booty, chat, and Dom is just kind of sitting there, like, laying down, like he just, clearly they just had sex and they're relaxing. But he's like, I gotta get up. He gets up and he, like, makes sure that she's still asleep. He's like, you stay here. Because even though he's in love with Neves, chat, he's still thinking about Letty, chat. You know that when he was making sweet, sweet, vroom, vroom, bro, love to Officer Neves, he was still thinking about Letty. And so he goes outside. He's not sure cocking it, chat. He does put on some pants. And he goes outside and he works on an engine. But then, obviously, obviously Vin Diesel, he can sense when other people are nearby. He's like, I was wondering when you'd show up, Hobbs. He's like, you knew I would never let you go, Toretto. And it's like, am I under arrest? Because I don't feel under arrest. He's like, I'm not here for that, okay? All right, that's not why I'm here. Darkseid of the 5 Days Dumb is definitely rough for the booty. Remember the first movie? Yes, he is. How he violently grabbed Michelle Rodriguez's ass. But she was into that, chat. That's why he needs a girl like that. He's like, I need someone who I can grab someone's booty violently. And, Michelle Rodriguez was the only one that let him do that. And then he's like, well, what do you need me for? But then fucking Officer Neves comes out. It's like, don't take my man meat away from me. He's like, Officer Neves, I'm not going to take your man meat away from you, okay? He's going to leave you. Like, by the way, Officer Neves gets fucked. Oh, Bruce Diesel. How do I combine Bruce Campbell and Vin Diesel's name? But Officer Neves, like the actress who, again, is very beautiful, the real-life wife of Chris Hemsworth, in this film, chat. But Elisa Pataki, I hope I'm saying her name correctly, plays Elena Neves. She gets kind of fucked over in this movie and also, like, in 8. It's like, Jesus Christ. I feel really sorry for her. It's like, she did not deserve that. In a way, though, she's like, no, go for Letty. Because that's why The Rock's here, chat. That's why Hobbs is here. Because he's like, listen, I need your help with something. He's like, we're not doing that anymore, okay? We have all the fucking money we need. And he's like, listen, I can give you a pardon. I give you amnesty and all that. So you can come back home. He's like, my family's here. He's like, but your family, some members of your family are still out there right now. And I found one of them. He gives him this file, and he says, this picture was taken 3 weeks ago, and it's fucking Letty. And Dom's like, Letty. And he's like, oh, my God. And he's like, look, I know you and her were very close, that you loved her. But she's out there and she's working for this really bad guy named Owen Shaw. I don't know if that's the same girl that you knew back in the day, all right, when you were fucking boosting combination DVD, VHS players and Panasonic TVs. But she's working for this guy right now, okay? And if you help me take him down, we can save her, or at least find out why the hell she started working for him. And he's like, well, If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna need to put the family back together. And The Rock's like, all right, man. Well, you give me a call and we'll do this. He's like, cool. And then Officer Neves comes over and she's like, so who's that? Is that Letty? Is that the girl you told me about who you loved? And he goes, yeah, I love Letty. And then he looks at her like, it's kind of fucking awkward. She's like, listen, if I was in your position, and I could have gotten my husband back, because she mentions her husband, the reason why she joined the force, because her husband was murdered by Reyes in Fast 5 chat. She says, I would do this. You need to go after her. It's like, you fucked up, Officer Neves, because you should have never done that. You should have just stuck hold him, because he does not love you. And he's like, yay. And so then he's like, thank you, and I'll see you at the very, very, very end of the movie, because she's not in the rest of the movie after this. She had her scenes amounted to a scene of her ass, booty butt scene, after having copious amounts of sex with Dominic Toretto. And the end of the movie, when she sees Dominic grabbing the ass of Letty as they're having a barbecue and her walking away. That's it. It's like, it's so fucking sad. Fast sex. Oh, fast sex. Fast six, the winter Letty. Pretty much. Clearly, death means nothing in the family unless you're Vince. Unless you're Vince. No, Vince is fucking dead. Dom made sure he was fucking dead. We saw him put the cloth on his face. He ain't coming back, chat. Now, Vince's son, perhaps. Because I had this whole scenario, chat. Like, I was even talking about this during, like, some of my video and audio commentaries. Like, you know that after Fast 10 and 11, they say that they're done. Fast 10 and 11 are going to be the last two films of the franchise. They're going to film back to back. Hopefully, they'll go to Spake, and hopefully, they'll do a combination Jurassic Park, Fast and Furious movie where they got to fight dinosaurs or ride dinosaurs or some shit like that. We all want that. We all want that. But after that, chat, you know Universal's like, this is our biggest money-making franchise. Maybe aside from Jurassic World or Park, whatever you want to call it, that franchise. It's the Fast and Furious franchise. And if I was them, I'd be like, well, shit, I want to keep this going. I would consider doing the next generation of Fast and Furious, and you get actors who are like, you know, big name, you know, action stars, or like coming up action stars, people that are like, oh, I recognize this guy, I like this guy, and you make sure they all have the right chemistry, and then you have like the one character is Brian and Mia's son, and that's Jack, who we're gonna see in a second. You have Vince's son, Nico. You have Dom's son that he has with Elena. Spoiler in 8. Who was Brian Jr. Like, you could do this. You could definitely do this. I thought 10 was the last. No, it's 10 and 11. They're filming them back to back. I think it'll be like a part 1, part 2 scenario. Depending on how old he is by the time they make 10, 11. Yeah, we'll see. And you could Fast Babies. Yeah, that's the nickname for it. And you can bring in some of the other actors. So like Vin Diesel says, like, I'm done. Like, I know he doesn't want to do this anymore. I think he just wants to like just kind of end it. However, thank you for the 5 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if Dom was injected with Dino DNA. Could explain the powers. It makes sense. InGen. I'm hoping like at the end of F9 that we get like an InGen logo. It's like, oh, it's all connected. Or one of these films. It would be incredible. Or see something in the background. Thank you, Jason Bear, for the mini. Vince can be a zombie Fast 10 or 11. I'll allow it. I'm sure that actor would like to come back. But you could bring in like some of the other actors as like, okay, they're the older generation. They're kind of like teaching the new generation how not to be busters, how to be racers, how to be super spies and superheroes. So I would imagine like, you know, Han will want to come back. Like I'm pretty sure Son Khan would want to come back and do these other movies and be like, I could see Han being like the cool uncle, perhaps. Maybe a Tyrese will definitely want to do it. Tyrese, maybe Ludacris. But I think like Vin Diesel will probably be done. Maybe Michelle Rodriguez would be done. You know, Jordana Brewster might come back. She might want to do it. You have the connection. You have her because obviously can't use Paul Walker. That'd be kind of cool. Like I imagine you would have some of the older generation be kind of like the teachers of the new generation. Keep it fucking going. Keep it fucking going. I don't know who else you would. Cole Hauser could come back. I guess he can as Crouton. He's like, I'll be back. You haven't been back since 2003. But we'll see. Blackstone, welcome to stream. I'm doing my review for Fast and Furious 6. Also talking about just the next generation of Fast and Furious characters we could possibly get someday. But chat, I digress. Dom then goes to visit Mia and Brian at their incredible fucking estate. It is a gorgeous home that they go to. And they're with their son, Jack, and Brian is like, I'm making a paper airplane. He's like, Jack, look. And Jack's like, Dad, literally, I've just been born, like, I don't know, like 2 months ago. You're all just shapes to me that clothe me and clean me and feed me. I don't know what the fuck this is. He's like, Jack, look at the aeroplane. And Jack's like, I don't fucking care. I'm busy drooling over myself. Thank you, Nia Brownie, for the 5 biddies. I don't know what's going on. Also, hi. Hard hands, Nia Brownie. Welcome to stream. My heart's a pitter-patter. But he's like, Jack, look at this. And they have small models of their cars. You have the classic blue speedster that Brian always drives in these movies. Like, look, Jack, here's the car. And Jack's like, I don't know what the fuck this is, Dad. And then eventually Uncle Dom, he's like, hey, everybody, it's Uncle Dom. And he's like, oh, it's great. And see, so he comes on over. He's brought like Officer Nevis with me, and he's like, "Here, here's your present, little Jack." And it's the little model of his black muscle car, American Muscle, Chad. It's the best kind you can get out there. And Brian, or little Jack's like, "This is amazing," and and Brian's like, "Oh," he's like, "I think he picked the one he likes the most." And he's like, "Listen, I gotta talk to Brian about something." And she's like, all right, I guess I'll take the baby since I've been relegated to just being the fucking mom in the next few movies until F9. Like, Jordana Brewster definitely gets the raw end of the deal, chat. She comes back at the end of the movie for a cool scene. cool action sequence. But man, she's like, it kind of sucks for her because she's in 7, doesn't get anything to do really. And that's also because it's sadly the passing of Paul Walker. Maybe she had a bigger plot, but it's still not there. And then 8, not in there. But 9 looks like she's coming back for action. So I'm happy for Jordana Brewster. She gets to come back. Because, yeah, it's like, oh, you're going to be the mom now. It's like, that kind of sucks. Jason Goodbiddy, don't worry, Nightbright. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on with these films. True. It's true. Even the writers are like, I don't know. But then Dom and Brian, they sit down, and Dom says, like, listen, man, Hobbs came by, and he gave me this file. Brian opens it, and he sees Letty. He's like, holy fucking shit. And he's like, she's alive. And Brian says, there's no way we had the body. We had the body of Letty. And then Dom goes, how do you know it was her body? I don't know, DNA testing, dental records, Dom. And Dom says, you know all that shit could be faked. Can it, though? Can that shit be faked? Okay. Vanny, thank you for the host. It's like, again, like they said, we buried a fucking body. And then they do this whole fucking... We'll get to it, chat, but they literally had a funeral. They buried a body. They recovered a body. We saw it. It was there. We were at that funeral in Fast and Furious. And again, science reality means nothing. It does. Logic is always the ultimate villain in this series, chat. Even more than gravity and physics. It's just nuts. And he's like, listen, I want to go after. She's working for this guy named Owen Shaw. Hobbs is really concerned about it because he's like the toughest guy we've ever like potentially could fight. And he's like, well, I'll definitely help you, because Brian also feels guilty because Letty was the one who came to him and wanted to help take down Braga. Hold up, put a pin in Braga for a second, Chad. We're going to come back to Braga in a bit. But thank you, Jason, for the video. Also, they buried Han in F7. Yep, they buried there was a body. No, how do you know it was that body? They could fake DNA and dental records. He exploded, and therefore we don't know. It's like, okay. Dark said this is some necromancy. It must have been necromancy. That's the only way they brought these people back. Oh, God. Anyway, so... well, in order for us to, but Brian feels guilty about Letty because he had her come in there and try to help take down the drug cartel guy, Braga, played by John Ortiz, Braga/Campos. And he's like, well, if we're going to fucking do this, we need to bring the goddamn team together, obviously. So, chat, we get a fucking montage of what everyone's doing. We see Han and Gazelle. Han and, of course, Gal Gadot. They're in Hong Kong, or I think somewhere in China. I think it's Hong Kong. And then what do you think they're doing, Chad? They're eating. They're stuffing their face. She's like, you need to fucking eat. It's so funny that Han is the guy that's always snacking, and you have Gal Gadot, who is just like a waif, who is just so skinny. She's like, I need warmth. I need like a sandwich or something. I need a little bit of fat in my body. It's like, you need to eat, girl. And he's like feeding her. Like, clearly Han's like a feedie or a foodie or something like that. It's like, eat something. And she goes, so where do you want to go after this? Don't you want to, like, what do you want to do? Because clearly, like, they're both falling in love with each other and stuff. They've been with each other, been fucking, because we saw them fucking in the car at the end of Fast 5. And he goes, well, I've been thinking about going to Tokyo. It's like, no, Han, not yet. No, please, you must survive. Thank you for submitting. Mr. Money may have helped fabricate the death of Han, and he is doing secret missions for him since Mr. Nobody. It's F7. That's cool. I can see that. Yeah. He was a sleeper agent. He was trying to take down the triad in Tokyo, going after DK. Donkey Kong. I guess he succeeded. But so we see them, and they're having a nice little time. We then cut you. Then they get a fucking phone call. Like the fucking Hong Kong police show up. It's like, oh shit, what the hell's going on? And they get a phone call, and they go, hello? And then, chat, we cut to Ludacris. And again, they keep trying. Now he's not only so before he was a circuits guy. Now he's a straight fucking hacker. He's a world-class fucking hacker, chat. He's somewhere, I feel like, somewhere in South America or something, because he's at like an ATM machine. All these guys are giving him shit. It's like, you don't know computers. You don't know shit. He's like, oh yeah. And he presses a button, and all like thousands and thousands of dollars just start shooting out of this machine and starts ringing around this town. People are like, yes, money. And he's like, I am a fucking hacker. And then he gets a phone call. He's like, who is this? And then, we cut to Tyrese. And Tyrese, he is on a plane, on his own private plane, with 4 ladies, and they're going to a casino. He's like, oh, girls, you're going to love this fucking casino. They got a great goddamn spread. They got a wonderful gambling machines that you're going to love. They got a pool, and I got all these little teeny tiny bikinis for you girls to wear. Woo, can't wait for it. But then he gets a fucking call. It's like, oh, shit, what's up? And who's calling, Chad? Damn, the family. And he says, listen, guys, I'm calling you all at the same time because we got a fucking job to do, okay? And it's Hobbs. You're like, oh, fuck that Busters. No, here's the thing, man. It's not just about Hobbs, not about this guy Owen Shaw. It's Letty. She's a member of the family. I gotta have you come back and help me. Even though fucking Tyrese and Ludacris have no connection, and Gazelle have no connection to Letty. Like, who the fuck is Letty? We don't know. We never mentioned her before. That makes goddamn sense. Drugs the good vibration there. Where did he learn hacking from? You know that. I better stop questioning. They did not. They never established why. All they say in Fast 5 to say oh, you don't know about his past. Whereas because Roman Pierce asks him, Tyrese Gibson asks him, how do you know about this stuff? And he says, you didn't know me. And what was his fucking line? I think he says. I was another person before you knew me, Roman. It's like bull fucking shit. But okay, we'll go with it. Eventually, though, everyone agrees. Like Han and Gazelle, they're like, oh, of course we'll go there. We'll be there right there. Ludacris agrees. And we cut to Tyrese. He's like, I'll be right there, fam. He's like, girls, listen, I'm sorry. I gotta turn the jet around. We gotta go help my family. I have some vouchers. It's for the buffet. And then we cut outside of Tyrese's plane, and it says, Roman, bitch. This is Roman's plane, bitch. Like, that's the name of his fucking plane. I love it. Eventually, we cut and we see London, chat. We're in London. And the whole fucking team shows up there. And Hobbs is there. Gina's there. And they're like, all right, here's our mission. But here's the target. Here's the connection to Owen Shaw. And they literally lay down a picture of Letty. And Ludacris and and Tyrese Gibson and Gazelle are like, we have no idea who this bitch is. But we're going to help you because Dom loves her, obviously. And then Hobbs is just doing this whole, like, exposition, like, explaining, like, okay, this is what we got to do. We have, remember that bald guy that The Rock beat up before? He's now going to be working for us. We're going to send him in there. He's going to infiltrate. And then we're going to come in there and arrest him. We're going to grab Letty, all that shit. It's like, cool. But while he's doing all this, Tyrese, he hungry, chat. Tyrese hungry. And he's looking for a snack. And he says, Han, can I have one of your snacks? And Han's like, it's gone, man. I'm gone. And he's like, Ludacris, can I have some change? He's like, you're a fucking millionaire, man. He's like, why do you need change? He's like, how do you think I stay a millionaire, man? I ask for more money. Now give me that some change. And he goes to the the vending machine. And it's like, hey guys, hey y'all, how much is this? Because it's British currency. And The Rock just pulls out his fucking gun. It's like, and Tony's like, oh no, he's going to shoot me. Ah! He's just screaming, oh no. But he shoots the vending machine. And he's like, it's fucking on me. He's like, all right, Jesus, you didn't have to be so mean. And so he picks up all the food, like from the broken glasses, just starts eating like a little chipmunk, chat. He's adorable in this movie. Which is a pretty brilliant way to stay away. It's true. It actually is. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. But again, this just showcases why this film franchise, especially in 5, 6, and 7, and I even say 4, works so well, is because the whole plot, the exposition, it's like, okay, all that serves is that it eventually leads to a really cool action scene. But it's in the middle of all this exposition where all the characters are doing different things and having, like, that camaraderie. It's like, I love Tyrese's interactions with Ludacris, with Han, with Brian. I just think it's really, really funny. It just works. That's the heart of the movie, Chad. It's like, yeah, we have all these wonderful stunts and action sequences and racing sequences, but it's like, this is why I think this franchise has succeeded as much as it has. And then we cut because apparently the guy told everyone where Owen Shaw's secret base is, and he's like, okay, cool. So they're all set up. They have like the entire fucking London police force there, the SWAT teams, all that shit. And they've all set themselves up here. They're watching from a parking garage, and they send that guy in. They send that boy in. And we see this guy. He goes goddamn downstairs, and he's like super fucking nervous, though. He's like, oh, Jesus. And he puts in the code, and Owen Shaw's like, I'm surprised that the police let you go. And he's like, I didn't say nothing. It's like, already you look so guilty. And Owen Shaw's like, okay. And he's working on this, and I love this car. It's one of my favorite cars in the franchise. It's ugly as sin, but it's practical. Owen Shaw is a practical man. He's not about the flash, chat. But he's putting together like this it's almost like this flat racing car, like a Formula One, like super flat car, where at the top of it, it goes all the way to the bottom. It goes like straight up like this. And it's like, I wonder what that has to do. What's the purpose of that? Oh, we'll fucking see. And so he like reaches in there. He's like, and the guy's like, no, Shaw, please don't shoot me. Don't shoot me, you will. And he's like, I'm just giving you your money, bro. Take it easy, love. And he's like, oh, thank you, Owen. And he's like, oh, so I got a little extra in there for you. And like Owen's getting inside the little flat speedster of his. He's like, extra for what? He's like, oh, for the next job. He's like, when's this job? What are you talking about? And it's like, oh, the job that's starting right now. See ya, Buster. And he fucking takes off. And the guy's like, what? And all the SWAT teams, all the cops start coming in and things to that one area, because they ID'd Owen Shaw's voice. It's like, move, get in there. But the thing is, though, Dom and the team, Dom and the family, they're like, no, man, Shaw's a buster, so he knows that we're coming for him, and they all get in their fucking cars, like, because this guy, he's too fucking smart, but we're smarter than Shaw, so they prepare themselves. We cut back to the bald British guy, and he said, what did he mean by that? And he opens his the case, and that little extra chase, like I left a little extra in there for you, and it's fucking it's a shit ton of C4. He's like, oh no, and he explodes, chat. He explodes, and it takes out like the underground garage area, and then Shaw, he's rigged all these concrete columns with C4, and he presses a button. They all start boom, 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 all start going. And this entire sequence is fucking awesome, Chad. It looks really good. Yes, there's CGI here, but a lot of practical effects, a lot of practical explosions, and it all looks great. This movie's, it's almost a decade old, Chad, but holds up extremely well. And all the fucking cops are like, no, and join, oh no, me leg, it's hurt, because they're all getting smushed by concrete pillars and rocks and shit. But fuck, chat, Owen Shaw, he didn't expect the family, and everyone takes off after him, chat. You got fucking Brian O'Connor, you got Tyrese, even Ludacris gets behind the wheel, chat. You got Han, you got Gazelle, you even have and of course, Dom, chat. They're all chasing after Owen Shaw. But Owen Shaw, he ain't no regular buster, chat. Because his car, so the reason why it's so flat is, and they're like, why is he just going right at the police? He's going to crash right into them. He goes at the cars, and the thing is, the flat top is so flat and goes right to the ground, they literally just ride over him. And they ride over him, and they're flipping the air, and they're crashing other people, and babies, and people are exploding everywhere. It's like, oh my God! Oh my God! Sup, Chris, in the British voice is I won. Thank you, Luke Boss. Welcome, stream. Thank you for the 2 biddies. But it's absolute chaos. Like, holy shit. And so this car, that Owen Shaw, it's probably one of my favorite cars in the series because, again, it's not flashy, it's not beautiful, but what it does is so beautifully simple and effective. And it's great because it's like, shit, we can't, he'll always go through things because he'll just be able to lift up these cars and they'll literally like ride over him. And he has all these steel girders on it so it can take the weight of these cars and it protects his face and head while he's driving. It's like, wow, this is pretty cool. Whoa, yes, the review. Good to see a 16-bit. We're at the first big chase sequence of the movie. And so they're going after Owen Shaw, but he's putting them through all the fucking moves. The thing is, Owen Shaw, he's starting to use sci-fi technology, chat, and we actually see an evolution. So the first time we actually see sci-fi technology in the Fast and Furious series, you're thinking, oh, well, obviously it's like, in Fast and Furious or maybe Fast 5. No, Chad, the first time we actually see sci-fi technology is in Too Fast, Too Furious. Remember in the opening and several sequences in the movies, the Miami Police Department have these giant harpoons and tow cables, which have like an EMP, bomb on it, and they fire at the car, and it shuts down the car. Well, apparently, Owen Shaw is like, the Miami Police Department abandoned this project, but I've repurposed it for myself. And so he's able, this is crazy, because his fucking boys, they come in there, Chad, his boys and gals, his whole team, they come in there, and they start like firing these like little like almost looks like trackers or something like that. It's like, oh, it looks like a little tracker they post on there, but it's like this, this harpoon and tow cable. And that's what it is, because they fire from these harpoon and tow cable packs, but it's like this little kind of like normal looking beeper or tracker thing. Thing is, chat, it's actually based on the same technology from Too Fast, Too Furious. And what it does is it releases not an EMP, but an electromagnetic wave which allows the user to take control of the fucking car. And it's like, what? Explosions. So did Michael Bay direct this movie? Yes! Good to see a movie. Heist, baby. And so at one point, Owen's like, take care of them. And they take control of, like, the front two wheels, whatever section of the car you want. Take for the front two wheels, and it starts to make them swerve. And Teresa's like, ah, no! And he fucking, like, flips, and he goes inside of a building, chat, but he's okay. He's Tyrese. He can, his forehead, that big-ass forehead protecting him, Chad. He's good. And then it takes out Tej's car, Brian's car. Now, Brian, chat. Again, he's the second best racer. So he sees the little beeper, the little EMP beep bop booper on him, and he just goes to the side and, like, nudges it on a tree, and it falls off. But he's still chasing after Owen Shaw, chap. And then also Dom's there with him too. The thing is, though, one of the other cars there that backed up Owen Shaw, fucking Dom recognized it. Like, that's Letty. Holy shit, that's Letty. And I gotta fucking get her. I gotta get Brian. Can you take care of this? He's like, no problem, bro. He's like, bro, vroom, family. And so he goes after Letty. And Brian continues after Owen Shaw. But again, his fucking car ends up flipping in the middle of this this tunnel, chat, because he gets got by one of those flat speedsters, by his evil female doppelganger, chat. And when he's like, ah, and his car flips over, he's like, ah, this is upsetting. And we see the girl, like, drive past him. She goes, he's like, fuck you. And he's like, and then they take off. And Owen Shaw and the rest of his team escape, his precision team, as he likes to call them, they escape. Although Dom, he eventually gets Letty to spin out. Him and in their cars, they spin out, and he gets out, and he's like, Letty, are you okay? And Letty gets out of the car and goes, boom, and shoots him. He's like, Letty, you know bullets don't affect me, because he takes this fucking bullet like a champ. As we know, chat, we saw it in Fast and Furious when Dom gets shot. It doesn't affect him. Bullets don't hurt him. He's been hit with tire irons. He's been hit with crowbars. He's been hit with rebarb. It doesn't affect him, chat. And she shoots him, and he's like, oh, he's like confused. She's like, damn. And then she gets back in her car and leaves. Like, she has no idea what happened. Dom's like, Letty. We then cut back to the compound, and they're like, well, shit, we got our fucking asses kicked by a couple of British busters, like a multi-country, busted team. And Tyrese is like, don't you guys fucking see what's going on? Or like, what, Tyrese? He's like, we're literally fighting the evil versions of ourselves, and they absolutely fucking are. He says, look at this handsome black man. That's obviously me. And here, Han, there's the Asian evil version of you. And Han's like, he's not even, forget it. And here, this giant German white guy, he's basically the white version of Hobbs. Look at him. And then we even have the blonde girl. Look, Brian. Look, she's like you, prettier than you. Actually, no, she's not. She's not. You're the prettiest white person I've ever seen, Brian. And I love it. I love that they fucking reference the fact that Tyrese acknowledges the fact that Brian O'Connor is so pretty, which I think is a subtle wink and a nod to Too Fast, Too Furious, because of how Brian and Roman are just flirting with each other throughout the entire movie. It's like, nah, Brian, you're prettier than her. I think that's amazing. This movie canonizes Too Fast, Too Furious, an LGBTQ movie. It is. I think Too Fast, Too Furious is one of the best LGBTQ movies out there, chat. Incredible. Love that scene. Love that scene. And then we have, obviously, Dom as Owen Shaw. And then, but Brian, he goes over and he talks to, he goes and talks to Dom, and he's like, Dom, like, what's going on? He's like, Letty, she recognized me. Yeah, she recognized you? She shot you, man. She's like, I saw in her eyes. She was confused. She didn't know what she was doing. Something's going on. It's like, listen, Dom, like, even though she's back, she might not be back. She might not be the same person, okay? He's like, Brian, what is it? What's wrong? Why are you saying these things? He's like, it's my fault that she died, that she got in that situation before. Okay, it's on me. All right. He's like, Brian, forget about that. It's in the past. What's in the past? In the past. Family's in the future, and we gotta help Letty. And they're like, shit, okay. And so at this point, we have to figure out how to get Shaw. So we're going to need some better cars at this point, because their cars got all fucked up. And so we got to get some new cars, and we have to track down one of the buyers, or one of the creators of the harpoon and tow cable guns, the EMP guns, the EMP harpoon tow cable guns. And so we got to go ahead and do that. And they're like, okay, shit. Well, you know, Tej and The Rock, they go out to this like car exhibition in London to look at some cars. And this racist white British man comes up to them and says, excuse me, gentlemen, obviously by your skin color and your clothing, you clearly do not have enough money to actually buy anything here. You are nothing but common hustlers. You, as the Americans would say, are nothing but busters. So please leave. And then before this, and Tej is like, oh, we're going to get these cars. And Rock's like, we're not going to steal these cars, okay? And after that white British man comes in there and is talking all this fucking shit, yeah, sprecking all this sprek, fucking Tej goes, so what now? He's like, I'm going to beat the shit out of that man, but we still can't steal these cars, okay? He's like, okay, all right, you say so. But then we cut to the other team because they got to figure out, like, okay, we got to track down this guy who designed these harpoon and tow cables with the EMPs on them. And they go this lot. Apparently, this individual that sold them to Owen Shaw is still in contact with them and been selling them all this kind of equipment. They show up there, and this guy is just the palest white British boy I've ever seen, Chad. And he shall be referred to as White Boy. That's his new goddamn name. He straight up tells them the help group. Oh, that's right. He tells them, he calls them the help. He's like, the service entrance is in the back if you want to go ahead and serve food. It's like, oh, you piece of shit. You racist asshole. You get a nickel by the old bill. But thank you, by the way, for the 5 Bezark Slayer. Thou art peasants, begone from thou establishment. Very much so. Thank you, Nia. Comes back to White Boy. Oh, thank you, Nia, for the video. But Roman, Han, Gazelle, and Gina Carano, they show up at White Boy's lot, and they see White Boy, funny enough, what a coincidence, actually testing the harpoon and tow cable system. And Roman and Han, like, ladies, stand back, we'll go ahead and handle this. And Gina and Gazelle are like, this needs a woman's touch. He's just a man. And fucking Roman's like, what the fuck does she mean by that? I mean, just a man. What's a man? Han's like, she always says that. That's just what she says. And Roman, like, observes, like, the way Han is looking at her. He's like, oh, shit, man, you're in love with her, aren't you? You're in love with Gazelle. And he goes, yeah. It's like, oh, man, Han, are you two going to get hitched? Oh, shit, man, you better put up, listen, man, you got to do one of two things, all right? Either you buy a big enough rock for her in case your thing you're rocking between your legs isn't big enough, baby, or you use that thing and give her a smaller rock. And then Han says, so is that why all the women that you have around you are just so blinged out with big rocks? And he's like, hey, man. Like referencing the fact that he's got a small dick. Hilarious. It comes back to White Boy. So we then they then watch Gazelle and Gina Carano. They go down there, talk to White Boy. He's like, what you want, loves? And it's like, well, we just want to ask you about your harpoon and tow cable technology. And she's like, oh, you have nothing to say to you, but if you want to come and join me in the back and start sucking my White Boy dick. And Gina Carano just grabs him and just starts smashing him into the ground. She uses her thick Gina Carano thighs. He's like, oh, and not in a sexy way, And Gazelle's like, she will fucking break you, okay? So you're going to tell us how to get in contact with Owen Shaw, okay? He's like, all right, I will, all right. Han is life. Han's a good man. He doesn't get insecure when his women say he's just a man. Exactly. He's always cool, and he gets along with everyone. No, Han ain't no bust. That's why Han's like one of the best characters in the series. That's why it breaks my heart every time I see him die. But we cut, and White Boy is taking Gazelle and Gina Carano into his little establishment, but he gets his fucking phone out, Chad. He gets his goddamn phone out like a buster, and he starts like beep, bop, beep, beep, boop, and he calls, and he puts it on speaker. So like, oh, shit. And we cut to Owen Shaw's base of operations, and we see, like, everyone's there, and they pick up the phone, and they start listening to it, and Owen's like, go ahead and fucking take care of them. Make sure they don't keep track of us. And Letty's like, but, I mean, should I go too? He's like, yeah, Letty, you go with them. And so Letty goes with the two other guys, Chat, and they pull up to White Boy's establishment, and Roman and Han are observing this. Like, what the hell is this all about? And they got out of the fucking car, and it's like, oh, we're just going to go talk to him. Except the other two fucking busters who are with Letty, they get out, and they just immediately start blasting Chad. And White Boy's like, sorry, ladies, I guess it's over for you. Except he just gets a chest full of automatic weapon fire. He's like, and he just falls on the ground. Well, Gina Carano and Gazelle take cover. And Letty's like, guys, what are you doing? And he's like, we're doing our fucking jobs. What about you? It's like, oh, shit. And this is what Han and Pierce, they jump down and they start chasing after some of these guys. They chase after Han's evil doppelganger, chap. While Gina Carano, she chases after Letty. And we get like a really cool, like just action sequence shit, just fist fights, where Gina Carano and Michelle Rodriguez, they fucking go at it, and it's filmed very well. Like, both of these ladies know how to fight, and they fucking sell it. It's brutal, it's tough, it works. Where Gina Carano's like constantly trying to get this handcuffs on Michelle Rodriguez. She's like, no! She's like beating the shit out of Gina Carano. She like forces the two of them to fall down the stairs and like hitting all the goddamn stairs, getting all fucked up. It's great. Eventually, Letty escapes onto a subway. Gina Carano's like, she's mad. We then cut immediately to Roman and Han as they're fighting Han's evil doppelganger, and this guy is just kicking their asses, Chad, just back and forth. Like, he actually knows how to fight. Like, Roman obviously does not know how to fight. Han knows how to fight, but this guy's like a kung fu fucking master, and he's slapping them around, and we're literally, this is great, where Han's evil doppelganger grabs Han, has him a chokehold, and Roman Pierce comes in and goes, like, Han's like, no, and Roman comes with a punch, and he punches Han in the face. He's like, oh, Roman, he's like, sorry, y'all look alike. It's like, Rush Hour 2 reference. I love it. But evil doppelganger Han, he grabs both of them, shoves them through like a plate of glass, and he just goes, and he just walks away. And Roman and Han get up, and Roman's like, listen, nobody needs to know about this shit, okay? Nobody needs to know about this. And Han's like, agreed. Eventually, we cut back to Gazelle, and she is holding a dying white boy chat. White boy's like, and she's like, tell me how to get to Owen Shaw, okay? You can have your revenge, just tell me. And he says, Braga. It's Braga. Ooh. And she's like, Braga, her former boss chef from Fast and Furious? What does Braga have to do with this? Oh, chat, we shall see. Eventually, we also cut to Brian and Dom, and they are trying to find, because they fished the bullet out of, Dom literally pulled the bullet out of his body. He's like, it didn't hurt at all. And they find out, like, where they bought the ammunition and weapons. It was from this Cockney accented pawnbroker. And they go in there, and the guy's like got some boys that are giving him some protection. Except Dom just does his thing where he literally just throws people around, and Brian pulls out a gun. It's like, boys, And then Dom grabs the pawnbroker and starts slamming his face into glass like, boom, boom, boom. He's pulling going. He's like, what do you want? He's like, who fucking bought this gun? Who bought all these weapons? He's like, I don't know. It was this brown girl, and she looked mean as fucking hell. He's like, that's my girl, Letty. Boom! And he, like, breaks his face, and they get out of there. So, like, okay, they know that Letty bought the guns here, so they're kind of getting an idea of, like, where Owen Shaw is at this point. But they all meet up back at the compound, and Gazelle says, so the way in which we have to get in contact with Owen Shaw and also find out about Letty, apparently, chat, is through Braga. But Braga, according to Brian, he's been in a Los Angeles prison for the past several years. And, because everyone's asking, like, who is this guy? He's like, don't worry. It was just some, the biggest cartel criminal empire that we took down with race cars. We handled it. No big deal. And Roman's like, why didn't you call me for that, Brian? I could have helped you out. But Brian's like, listen, I'm going to go and talk to Braga. And they're like, Brian, you're fucking wanted. We're all wanted around the world. If we step one foot in the United States, we'll be arrested and thrown in jail. And Brian's like, don't worry. I got a connection. I'll get to Braga 24 hours. I'll get my information. I'll come back here, and we'll find out what happened to Letty. And they're like, okay, cool. And so at this point, we then cut, and we're back in the United States, and Brian is in cuffs. He's in the orange jumpsuit, and he's walking down the steps of this plane, chap. And who does he fucking see? Shea Wingham. Shea Wingham, who is from the original Fast and Furious, or not original one, but Fast and Furious, chat, the fourth one, who was his partner he kept beating the shit out of. And it's like, oh, shit, Connor, listen, I just really want to turn you in right now, but you agreed to get us Owen Shaw, so I'll help you out. He's like, good to see you too, Shea Wingham. And so they get in the guy, bro, not good, bro. Oh, raid? Oh, did I get raided? Oh, I'm sorry. Raid, everybody on the dance floor. Raid. Well, I'm sorry, the rating alert didn't go off. My apologies. But at this point, they go to the prison. They go in the prison. And Shea Wingham is basically telling him, listen, I can give you 24 hours at this point. I can only put you in general population. He is serving all of his time in isolation right now, in the isolation wing. So how you're going to get in there is up to you. You're going to have to do something to some of these guys. He's like, don't worry, I can think of something. He's like, cool. And he sees Brian's picture of his kid because you got to give all the effects over to the prison guards and stuff. And he's like, hey, cute kid. He's like, oh, hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Also, I'm sorry. He's like, excuse me? And he grabs Shea Wingham and just starts slamming his fucking face into the concrete while he's like, oh! And they take him away. They drag him into the isolationist wing, chat. And the guy's like, oh, not again. A wonderful reference to Fast and Furious, chat. We then cut. Brian's been placed into an isolation cell. And he's just waiting now, but then this one guy, we cut to the camera station where this one security guard monitors everything. This other security guard walks in and he's like, hey, don't worry, I'm gonna cover your shit. The guy goes, oh, thanks, appreciate it. But the guy starts turning off all the cameras, chat, and he gives a little boop. We then cut to Brian's cell, and Brian's just been making paper planes and thinking of his son Jack and his wife Mia, chat. Just flying planes and stuff. And here's a little knock on the door, and we hear him, chat, Braga. We see John Ortiz as Campo/Braga, chat. Now he's embraced his true form of Braga. He's like, you got a lot of fucking balls, O'Connor, being here. Heard what you did. But hey, criminal always a criminal, right? He's like, good to see you, Braga. I have a few questions for you. He's like, what do you want to know before I kill you? I will give you intimate, specific details of anything that you want before me and my boys here just shiv you to death, before we stab you in your little tummy-tum. And he goes, cool. He's like, Letty, you killed her all those years ago. He goes, ha, little did you know that's not what happened. And he's like, wait, what? We found a body. He's like, no, not at all. Let me explain to you what happened. And so we see the crash scene from Fast and Furious. Remember that whole scene with Dom and Sherlock Holmes putting together the scene when Not Voss hits Letty and comes out and shoots her in the fucking face, like in that movie? It didn't happen that way. So what we see, chat, is they see the same crash. Not Voss steps out of this car, which is actually his mother's milk from the boys, which is pretty cool. And Letty's coming out of the car, and this guy has his gun pointed at her. He's walking towards her, he has his gun pointed at her. And apparently, though, Letty, Michelle Rodriguez, just gives the most evil, just like, face I've ever seen. Like, I bet you won't do it. You don't have the fucking balls. Just look at him, and apparently, Not Voss gets so freaked out by this, because he's like, he literally is intimidated by how badass and scary she looks. He goes, oh, and he shoots her car, her gas tank, which blows up the car, and it pushes her away. But again, that wouldn't happen because she'd just be covered in fucking flames. But the kinetic energy pushes her down a hill where she then rolls down and hits her head on a rock. And then Brian's like, but we found a body. But John Ortiz, fucking Braga's like, but did you though? Did you find a body? It's like, yeah. It's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense. and then he's like, and then the paramedics they put her in a hospital. Someone found, they put her in a hospital, I guess. And then I called Owen Shaw because this is the connection. Braga says, I've been working for Owen Shaw the entire time. I've been running drugs for him and weapons for him for years. We've been in a partnership for a long time. And I told him about Letty and saying that, well, she knows about our operation and we got to kill her. And he's like, cool, I'm going to go over there and kill her right now in the LA hospital. And so he goes there, but he discovered, chat, Letty, nah, it's okay. I don't need to kill her because she has amnesia. She has amnesia. She forgot everything after the crash. Doesn't remember anything, her life or Dom or anyone else, the family. And apparently, but chat, even though she forgot all that, she still has all of her skills as a mercenary, DVD/VHS player or VHS thief, and racer. And so he's like, well, I'm going to use all her skills for my mercenary organization. So very selective amnesia, chat. Bro, telenovela. Very selective amnesia where you forget certain things, but you have all these other things which you remember. And then Paul Walker just is like, he's so confused. And Braga's like, I've revealed everything I can to you, bride, but now you must die. And so they open the cell door. It's so goddamn dumb. Jason. It is Jason Bourne. Is it? Can't remember anything, but can still kick ass. Same thing, same type of scenario. They Jason Bourne Letty. That's what she is. Jason Bourne of the series now. She's like the female equivalent. And so they open the cell door and they try to stab him with these little like shivs. But Brian ain't no busted, chat, because he just takes on all three of these guys, and he just like gouges like the other two guys' eyes out with the shivs, like she's like, oh, and he holds like Braga down, and he's like, you need to tell me more information. Where's Owen Shaw? Where's he hiding? He's like, I won't tell you anything, Brian. He's like, all right, I'm gonna keep stabbing you then. He goes, he's like, oh, my tummy. He's like, okay, he should be between these blocks in London. And he's like, cool, thanks, Braga. See you next time. But we never see Braga next time, chat. I will say, really cool how they incorporate some of the villains from the past films. Like, I would like to see more villains show up. You know, like, where's Crouton? Let's get Crouton back. What happened to DK? Is he dead? Is Johnny Tran, is he truly dead, Chet? I mean, there's all sorts of things they could do. Shea Wingham and John T is a package deal or something. There are a lot of things together. Those are in these movies together. Yep, Civil Lines Playbook and Skull Island. Yeah, it's fun. I guess so. They love looking for each other. Oh, the truck driver, it's true. The truck driver from Fast and Furious 1 is also in Fast and Furious, chat. It's the same truck driver. He's like, these motherfuckers again. That's a good point. They should bring him back. He should join the family at this point, chat. He's really good at his job. DK's still alive, right? I don't know about DK. We never really see what happened to DK. Because his car crashes, but we don't see him get out of it. So, who knows? Who knows? Maybe he probably still wants revenge against Han, I would imagine. Yeah, we'll find out, chat. But, Brian... he's like, okay, cool. And so he heads back and he meets up with Shea Wingham. And Shea Wingham is like, his fucking face is all fucking swollen. He's like, Brian, I sure hope you're able to stop Owen Shaw. And he's like, me too, man. By the way, sorry about the nose. And he's like, it's okay. I can't smell anything anyway since you broke it the first time. It's like, cool. So... he boards a plane, he heads back to London. But meanwhile, Chad, damn, he wants to still get a hold of Letty, Chad, and he learns from The Rock, everyone else, there's going to be a drag race in London. And he's like, cool, I'm going to go participate, but because there's no doubt in my mind that Letty will be there. And so he goes there, Chad, and who does he fucking spot? The first person he sees? Oh, by the way, booty butt shot, copious amounts of booties of all races, of all ethnicities, Chad, lined up in a row. Thank you, Justin Lin. They all look great. But then, Dom, he gets there and he sees Letty. She just got some more pink slips, Chad, because these fucking bustas, they bet their pink slips, which means they bet their cars. And so she basically takes this muscle car and she starts driving around. She's getting ready for a race. Who's she going to be racing against, Chad? It's Dom. And she sees it, she's like, whoa, you got some goddamn balls to be here, man. And he's like, well, you know me. I like to race. I know you like to race too. Like, she's like, how do you know that, Dom? And it's like, because I know you really well, Letty. You used to be my bro wife. Bro wife, indeed. And they're like flirting back and forth, Chet, in their own way. In their own Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez way. And then this lady who has a big butt, she comes up and she's like, oh, you're ready. Get set, go. And they start racing. They start drag racing in the middle of London. And they're doing a really goddamn good job. They're like matching tit for tat, Chad, doing great. But fucking Dom, he is the better racer than Michelle Rodriguez, and he gets ahead of her, Chad. He fucking wins the race, even though like no one's there to see like who actually won. And eventually they go into like this little factory district where they park in this massive parking lot where no one else is there, and they stop. And he's like, I beat you. And she's like, because he even says like, you eased up on with the brake again. She's, I did that so I can fake you out. Yeah, I remember you used to do that all the time. Doesn't work on me though. She's like, how do you know me? He's like, I've known you since you were 15 years old, Letty. She's like, what? And they start talking about, he starts describing like the day he first met her, Chad, the day he first saw her. Thank you for the 5 minutes. It's by Justin Lin's son of a bus. Oh, is that his son? I thought so, because they placed a lot of emphasis on that sweet baby Asian boy. I figured. Thank you for the 5 minutes. Bizarre, she's Bizarro Letty. Yes. That thon. They're playing that thon song, I believe, in the background. But, excuse me, Chad, I got the sniffles. So, he then starts like pointing at certain things. He's like, they start just feeling each other's bodies. Like Dom, again, he like grabs her ass. She's like, I remember the rough handling of my ass. He's like, yes, Letty, you remembering. And she starts like holding and touching his body, and they're like, oh, she's so hot and sexy. It's like a washboard. It's beautiful. And he observes, I remember every single part of your body, Letty. And you see these scars on her, like little wrist, like right here, like this little crisscross scar. And he's like, I remember this the day I met you. There was this punk buster who was driving a car and nearly hit you, but almost took your arm off. God give you a scar like that. And she's like, you saw that? He goes, yeah, I was the one that did it. I was that guy trying to impress you. And she's like, oh shit. She's like, well, what about this scar? And she like this is crazy. She pulls down her pants. She like pulls down her pants, like nearly exposing her groin. He's like, oh yeah, I remember that. That's when we went. That was the last time I saw you. That's when we were swimming in Dominican Republic. We went out to, after we had copious amounts of sex. You wanted to relax in the salt water, but you cut your tummy on the reef. And I cut my tum-tum too. And he pulls up his eye, shows a little scar. She goes, you may know all these things about me, damn, but I don't know you. And he's like, Letty, I want to give you something, okay? Because maybe it'll help you remember. And he gives her the steel cross. He puts it in her hand, and she's like, I don't know what this is. He's like, someday you will, Letty. Someday you will. And then she gets back in her car, and she drives away. But she has so many things to think about. Look what's thinking about. Oh, Letty, I also remember you aren't a generous lover. He does not go down. Maybe he does. I don't know. Batman certainly doesn't. At this point, he's like, bye, Letty, I love you. But then who fucking shows up, chat? Owen Shaw. He's observed all of this. He's like, I've been watching you the entire time, Dom. He's like, oh, I know you have, busted. No, you don't, Dom. No, you don't. But he gets out, and he's like, listen, I know your weakness. And Dom's like, what's that? And he's like, it's family. See, with me, I have no weaknesses, Dom, because I'm all about the team. I'm all about precision. That's what it's all about. Like my brother, he's always helped me out. He's always been, and it's like, oh, it's the first reference to Deckard Shaw, which I think is pretty goddamn cool. My brother's always looked out for me, but I've lived by precision. It's the same as him. And if I put together a team, I want to make sure that team can be replaced at any given moment. I want the best of the best. But if someone fucking dies, who gives a shit? I'll get someone even better than him. But you, Dom, you are this archaic fucking family of yours. Your loyalty is your weakness. Your love, the fact that you love and care is your weakness. And it's like so ridiculous. And he's like, I don't think that's a weakness. That just makes us stronger. And it's like, well, Dom, I know your weakness. Letty, part of your family. Be a shame if something were to happen to her, but I won't have to worry about that anymore because after I take care of fucking Hobbs, I'm gonna take care of you. And we see like this laser lab, someone's got a sniper on him, and it's like Klaus, the big giant not rock guy, but he's like the white rock. He's like, I got him in my sights, I do. But then all of a sudden, Dom's like, oh, I got an eye on you too, Owen Shaw. And apparently, I don't know how did they organize this? Because I guess it was just this location. Because Hobbs is on the opposite end of a building, and he's pointing a sniper rifle at Owen Shaw. And so they're kind of at like, oh shit, a standstill. And Owen's like, you got me. I'll see you next time, Toretto. And he gets in his car and he drives away. And Dom's like, I'll be seeing you. Eventually, we cut back to Shaw's place, and he gets out of his car. He sees Letty. Letty seems a little mad, and he sees the cross right there, and he's like, what does that mean to you, Letty? Do you have feelings for him? She's like, I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. And he's like, give it to me, Letty. She's, you want it? Here you go. Take it. It means nothing to me. Damn, means nothing to me. And he like, now it's yours. You have it. And then she walks away, and he's like, yeah, disgusted by it. Eventually, though, we cut back. Oh, where are we here? Oh, yeah, we cut back to Brian, who's arrived back at the compound and tells him all about the connection with Letty that Braga lied about, and not Voss didn't kill Letty, and that's why he was working for the team. And Dom's like, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. It never fucking mattered, chat. We'll just continue to move on. But it's okay, though. It's okay because of the information they got from Braga and how they've been doing their own recon, they've tracked down to where they believe Owen Shaw will be now. It's like, okay, let's go to that location. The Rock, I'm going to go with Gina Carano, and we're going to get him, and you guys will come in there as backup. And they're like, cool. And so The Rock and Gina Carano, they go to the Owen Shaw's compound, and no one is there. They're like, fuck, we missed him. Like, Gina Carano's like, well, guess they got away. I wonder how that happened. And he's like, oh, no, it's never that easy. And he like starts like getting this substance off the ground, and it's like, don't worry, we'll be able to track them. We'll find out maybe where they bought this stuff and figure out what their next job is. Okay, but then Chad, they get a call, and apparently from like a British military base, and Owen Shaw sent one of his guys to infiltrate that base, Chad, that base. And it scared the military base. They're like, shit, well, you know, if Owen Shaw's going to, because apparently, Chad, this mercenary group is far more powerful than the actual British military. Because that's the MacGuffin. The MacGuffin of the movie, Chad, is Owen Shaw is after a thing called the Nightshade. It's a dumb name. They only mention it once, but it's basically this microchip where if you activate it into a computer system, it can shut down an entire country's electrical grid, internet. It's like a giant EMP. That's what it is for 24 hours. And then it causes supreme chaos, and you can use it all the time. And, you know, you can sell it to the highest bidder for billions and billions of dollars. And that's why they're after Owen Shaw, because he wants this thing. Apparently, the microchip is at the military base. The military is like, oh, don't worry, though. As soon as that guy came, when they placed the guy under arrest because he tried to sneak in, we sent the microchip on a convoy, so he won't be able to get it. But then fucking Dom and Hobbs and Braun are like, oh, shit. He just sent that guy there to get the fucking thing out. Because obviously what he's going to do is go after the convoy. Because that's what fucking Owen Shaw does. He attacks convoys. It's like these guys aren't thinking. What? It's called the Nightshade. I know. So, and then we cut, and I think they're like, because they're moving it from like somewhere in Madrid or something. I don't know where the fuck they are, Spain or whatever. We're like, okay, let's get our fucking cars because we got to get to this location now. But it's too late, Chad. It's too late. They're all on this highway. They're driving down this highway, but they know that Shaw is going after the convoy at this moment. So Dom, Brian, who else is there? Tyrese, Han. They're all on the same highway, all trying to get to the convoy first before Owen Shaw does. The problem is that Owen Shaw is like right next to the convoy. He fucking attacks it with his guys. They literally jump on the cars, chat, and just start shooting into them and just start killing all the goddamn guys. Double toasted, thanks for the rain. Everybody on the dance floor. Ray, double toasted. Thank you so much for the raid. Nick Diaz, thank you. Chat, please do check out the chat deck. Nick Diaz, give this man the support he needs. All right, he deserves it. He's one of the backbones of the DT community. Make sure the goddamn, what's my fucking spiel? He's one of the backbones of DT community. Make sure the goddamn meal's the goddamn car, chat. Family, chat, fan. Hey, Cinnamon Sugar Toasties. Hey, so, like Owen Shaw, his guys start jumping on the convoy, chat. They start taking their assault, just killing all these guys. Cars are flipping over, and they jump on the main convoy, chat, and they cauterize this big hole, and they all start jumping inside of it. Like, what are they getting in there? Why do they all have to be in there, chat? Like, doesn't make any sense. Tej, he's like a good distance away. They set Tej up a little down the highway on this bridge. And he's like, it's also like, we're off the coast too, so it's like, shit, if we drive off the edge, you're gonna go into the fucking water. And he's like, I don't know what they're doing in there. And then we get a fucking awesome scene, check. So we cut back to the convoy, the main truck, and we see this fucking truck birth a tank, chat. This tank just bursts out of it. And Jess is like, oh, hell, they got a tank. And it's like, wait, what? What? Fast and Furious 6 review? Yeah, well, gamer, yeah. And we see this actual practical tank running down this highway. So what's cool about this is Justin Lin, he's like, okay, I want to not use CGI when I don't have to. So a lot of the stuff with the tank is actually practical, and it looks so goddamn cool. It really, really holds up. It's like, wow. There's CGI enhancements, of course. There's no doubt about that. But it's a great it's a wonderful action sequence. Like, it might be up there. I think it might even be higher to me than the giant safe chase in Brazil, chat. I mean, that was awesome. But the next two actions, like this one, the last one, are like so much fucking fun. And there's like, they have a fucking tank. And like, how the hell are we going to fight a tank? And like they're like, okay, we gotta just figure the situation out. We see that Owen Shaw and Letty and members of his team, they're actually in there operating the tank. And the body count here is ridiculous because they're just going back and forth in the highway, just crushing cars, like killing all these people. Like they're going on top of them. And you see, like, again, it's all practical. A lot of this practical. So you see them just going over these cars. It's like if there was passengers in them, they'd all be dead. They're literally fucking smushing. It looks so cool and it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary to behold, chat. Thank you, by the way, to Mikey the artist for the follow. You might Huckleberry. Nick, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Been a very fun review so far. And so at this point, you know, Tyrese Gibson's like, help! Because he accidentally gets in front of the tank, and it's about to crush him, but he gets stuck. And so it's like slowly like eating the car away as it's getting closer to him. He's like, oh, Jesus! Oh, God! But he does something smart, chat, because he's like, okay, shit, I have my harpoon and tow cable system in this goddamn car. And he takes it, he goes, okay, give me some of this shit. Here we go. And he like throws it around. He throws it around the barrel of the tank. He wraps around, make sure it's nice and secure. While Brian moves up with his blue coupe, chat, with his blue speech. It's like, Brian, help me! And it's like, jump, fucking Tyrese! Roman, jump! And then we get the scene we have always seen in the trailers of fucking Roman literally like, jumping, lands in the car as his car is sucked under. But the thing is, it's still attached to the cable. So the tank ends up dragging Tyrese's car. And they got like, and the people and the king are telling Owen Shaw, man, we got some major fucking drag. There's this car attached to the tank. And he's like, Letty, go out there and cut the cable. Say hi to Dom for me. And Letty's like, what does that mean? He's like, don't worry about it. Oh, thank you, Peter Bishop, for the 5 biddies. Hello, bro. Hello, fellow bro. And this thing is just swinging back and forth all across like the highway, hitting other cars and stuff. But it is slowing them down. And eventually, though, it flips over so they get the middle portion, which drops like to the abyss. Ends up going down there. The thing is, though, they know it's like, oh, Dom, he just has the intuition. He knows that the car will eventually get stuck, which will then propel the tank forward, causing Letty to be a projectile off the tank, just shoot her forward. And Dom's like, I gotta save Letty. And we get one of the dumbest, illogical, anti-physics, anti-gravity scenarios yet in the Fast and Furious, where Dom literally is standing on the window of his car while riding it and waiting until Letty is he sees her on the tank, sees it's about to flip, and he crashes his car, which propels him forward, and Letty, where the tank, it gets caught, and so Letty goes, boom, and Letty gets shot forward, but Dom is like, so here we have Letty, chat, this is Letty coming through here, and Dom's right here, and boom, he catches Letty in midair, literally catches in midair. It's like, okay, what the fuck's gonna stop them? It's okay, Chad, it's another car. And Dom literally just turns himself around in midair and hits a fucking windshield of the car and gets up and says, Letty, are you okay? She's like, of course I am, Dom. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? It doesn't make any sense. How do you know the car would break the fall? I didn't. No one did. No one did. It's so dumb and so perfect and so wonderful. And I love that Vin Diesel just gets up and like, that happened. It's like, didn't matter. Nothing mattered. Nick Luzzy, thank you so much for resubscribing. But the tank also flipped over, Chad, and Owen and his guys are trapped. Eventually, Chad, we cut back to the back to the British base that they were there, and like Owen has been placed under arrest and stuff, and it's like, oh, it's it's great, everyone's having a good time. Dom starts talking to Letty, and he's like, Letty, she's like, Dom, it's like, thank you for what you did for me, but I don't remember anything, Dom. He's like, it's okay, Letty, I'll help you remember. She goes, thank you, Dom, I want to be part of your family now, even though I don't know who the fuck you are. He's like, great. Stranger Shoe, thank you for the ladies. Bro, telenovela logic, pretty much. We then cut to Tej and Roman, and they're having fun. By the way, there's a great scene earlier. Jason, think of it. There's a great scene earlier where Tej is doing experiments on all the harpoon guns that Owen Shaw and his people were using. And for whatever reason, Roman's like a fucking kid in a candy store. He can't help but touch things. And he grabs this fucking thing and shoots it and nearly impales The Rock and Vin Diesel. He's like, it wasn't me, it was Tej, which is great. But just to set up the fact that they have these harpoon guns. We also, chat, cut to Gazelle and Han, and they're sitting there, and she's like, Han, I love you so much. She's like, I love you too. She's like, let's get married and have babies. He's like, yes, but where should we have all of our babies? She's like, well, you always wanted to go to Tokyo, right? He's like, I really do want to go to Tokyo. It's like, let's go to Tokyo and have all of the babies. Like, yay. Everyone's having a great time. But, chat, not all is well, because The Rock, he brings out Owen Shaw, and everyone's just like, what you got now, Owen? What are you going to kill? You came here to talk to us. How are you going to stop us now? And it's like, I don't need to stop you. Because I told you I know your weakness, Dom. I know your weakness, Brian. I know all your motherfucking weaknesses. And it's like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Not Tokyo. No one think of the 15 biddies too. And it was happily ever after in Tokyo. Yeah. I love that at the end of every Fast and Furious movie before Tokyo Drift, Han always references Tokyo. Like, I'm thinking about going to Tokyo. Like, Han, don't. You're going to die. You're going to crash your car. After they go into space, they'll disrupt next. It's tough time next. I hope so. Hope they go back in time and revisit and fight all their villains and they revisit their past selves and help themselves out. That'd be amazing. But Owen Shaw's like, listen, like my brother always told me, okay? It's all about precision. It's all about knowing your enemy's weaknesses. And I know your fucking weaknesses. It's family. And then we cut, and you're like, what? And we cut chat to Jordana Brewster and Officer Nevis, and they're being assaulted at their home, chat. Owen Shaw's boys, like giant white rock guy, Klaus, he's gone there. Several other people with evil female sexy Brian O'Connor doppelganger, they go there to kidnap them, chat, to kill them. It's like, oh no. And so Jordana Brewster takes little baby Jack along with Officer Nevis. They're running. But then Jordana Brewster's like, save my baby. I need to be kidnapped in order to be a part of this movie again. And so she runs off, and she's kidnapped by sexy female Brian O'Connor and Klaus. And he's like, Brian O'Connor, why don't you call Mia right now? He's like, oh no. And he calls her. He's like, Mia. And we hear the ha. We have your wife. He's like, no. And Dom is like, you fucked up, Buster. He's like, I didn't fuck up. What I want the goddamn nightshade. I want a car for my whole team. We're getting out of here. And the general's like, we are not giving you the nightshade, okay? We're not letting you leave. We're not going to sacrifice the safety of an entire nation over one woman. And The Rock pulls out his fucking giant magnum. He's like, you know what Mia is to this family? You're going to do what he says. And he's like, okay. And so they give Owen Shaw the nightshade, and the rest of his team is freed, and he's walking. And this is the dumb twist that was not necessary in the movie. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, what? It comes out of nowhere where he's walking away, but he turns around. He's like, are you coming with me, baby? And like everyone looks at Letty, and she's like, no. But then we hear, she's like, of course. Gina Carano, Chad. Gina Carano herself is a traitor. She's like, of course. And she starts strutting towards Owen Shaw, and they go, mwah. They do a little smooch where they hold hands. She's like, bye, fellas. I was an evil person the whole time. It's like, oh my God, Gina, no. It's like, comes out of nowhere. It's like, okay. And so they leave, and The Rock's like, the fuck? Woman, you betrayed me. You betrayed me, woman. At this point, they're like, we aren't settling for this Buster shit, okay? We're going to go after them ourselves. We have family. And Letty's like, listen, I'm sorry everything I've done, guys, but I want to help out your family. Letty, you don't need to help us out because you're already family, girl. She's like, damn, Letty. And so they all get in their fucking cars. And they go after Owen Shaw. Apparently, they learn, chat, that he is going to this airport. He's going on the military base. But the thing is, there's no plane there. And, like, because Roman Pierce is like, guys, where the fuck's he going? He's just going down the tarmac. There's no plane. And then they're like, look up, Roman. I see this giant fucking cargo plane coming in. And it, like, lands on the tarmac, but it's still moving constantly. So he has to move. So he can't stop. Be able to stop it. And they're like, that's no fucking plane, man. That's a planet. That's no moon. It's a space station. Nice little Star Wars reference right there, chat. No one thing of 50 minutes. So fictional and real life is similar. Got it. There you go. And then we get, I'm sorry, chat, the betrayal. But we get one of the best, again, much like the tank, this entire plane sequence is so much fun. Yes, there's more CGI, but you see Justin Lin, how confident he is as a filmmaker now, because we have so many things going on in this scene. It's a goddamn blast. Where Owen Shaw, he has his guys in their separate cars. And he's like, get them off of me and Gina, as he rolls up into the hangar bay with the nightshade and with Gina in there. Dom, he fucking just busts right in there along with Brian. They go right into there because they gotta fucking get, Dom's gotta go after his bro sister, and Brian has to go after his wife, his baby mama, chat. And they go in there and they start fighting Owen Shaw and Gina Carano. Oh, Letty as well. Letty goes in there too. And we get a really just good match between round two, between Letty and Gina Carano, and the choreography is excellent. It's really, really good. While on the outside, are like, okay, we have to figure out a way to make sure the plane doesn't fucking take off. And thankfully, Tej, he's repurposed the harpoon and tow cable guns, and they start firing them into the wings of the plane, trying to hold it down, attached to their own cars. But at the same time, their cars are literally going up in the air, chat, over and over again, and they can't really stand the ground. But then you have the other guys coming in here and start attacking them, chat. So you got two other cars, Owen Shaw's boys, start ramming them on side to side. So Roman and Tej, they're fighting some guys, while Han and Gazelle, they're fighting these two other guys too. Now, this is where the sad stuff starts happening, because they also, Gazelle and Han, they fire one of their harpoon guns into the wings, trying to keep it on the ground. But at this point, because of how they're being dragged out, both Han and Gazelle, they're trying to stay inside the car, but Gazelle, she gets pulled out by this one guy because she's so fucking thin. You can only just pull her out with one arm. She's like, oh God, Jesus, I should have ate that sandwich. And Han gets out there and he starts punching this guy to get her off of Gazelle, but he doesn't. He gets that one guy off. He gets sucked underneath the plane, goes, just explodes, just ripped apart. But the other guy, he's behind Han, and he's about to shoot him. And Gazelle's like, Han! He's like, Han doesn't know what's happening. And Gazelle, she's like, I gotta do this. She sacrifices herself, chat, where she literally jumps up in the air and shoots the guy off of Han, and she just disappears into the darkness. Now, we never see a body. We don't see Gazelle die. But Han's like, no! And when it happens, he's like, oh, he's very sad. But she just disappears into nothingness. And so they could easily bring her back, chat. Obviously, there was no fucking body. She's just gone. Now, again, if you were going at that speed and you jump and you hit the ground and the tarmac like that, your entire body would be ripped to shreds. There's no question. You would just be you would be peeled slowly away, and you'd just be concussed and you just explode. It's a bad way to go. Meanwhile, we cut back to Roman Pierce and Tej, and they're fighting their own guys. Roman Pierce gets a really badass moment where he literally just grabs a guy and he does a Vin Diesel move where he throws him into the jet engine and he explodes. He just gets shredded up. He was like his evil doppelganger, which I thought was great. Eventually bring her back like Steve Trevor. Do it! Eventually, we cut, well, not that way. No rape. Hopefully no rape involved. But we cut back inside the plane. The Rock, he manages to get inside the cargo plane, and him and Brian takes Mia. They get into a vehicle and they peace out. They get back and they help Han. They help Tej and Roman, and they fire their own harpoon gun into there, trying to keep the plane down. Meanwhile, The Rock and Dom, they fight Owen and the white version of The Rock, Klaus, respectively. And they're teaming up, trying to beat these guys. This is a great fucking fight. The Rock is fighting basically the whiter, bigger version of him. And this Klaus guy, he's throwing the Rock around in the scene. It's pretty incredible to behold. While Dom is beating the shit out of Owen Shaw. It's going back and forth, and they tag team, they tag out, and they're going at it. Eventually, The Rock's like, okay, I need fucking help. And Dom and The Rock they fucking take out Klaus. They knock him out. Meanwhile, we cut back to Letty and Gina Carano, and we get a badass scene where Letty finally gets the upper hand on Gina Carano. And The Rock's like, hey girl, Letty, catch. And he throws a harpoon gun to Letty, and she gets one of my favorite lines of the fucking movie, chat. She's like, wrong team, bitch. Boom! And she fires the harpoon gun into Gina Carano's tummy and goes, bam! And she gets sucked out the plane and gets sucked into a jet engine, chat, and goes, just explodes everywhere. God damn. What a way to go. Eventually, though, The Rock and Letty, they jump out, and so the only two that are left on there are Dom and Owen Shaw. And Dom's like, fuck this. I need to get that nightshade. I make sure that the family's protected at this point. And so him and Owen Shaw, they keep fighting. But Dom, he punches Owen Shaw, takes the nightshade, and he kicks him out. And Owen Shaw gets sucked out of the plane and goes, eh! And he goes on the tarmac, and he gets horrifically just skinned alive. He comes back, but you see his face is all fucked up in Fate of the Furious when he teams up with his brother to take down Cypher, Charlize Theron, obviously. Eventually, everyone gets out of the plane, but Dom is still in there like, Dom, like, what happened to Dom? And he literally drives a car through the rest of the plane, chat, comes out of it while the plane behind him just explodes into a fire. Like, he drives through, like, the pilot area. Like, right there. He takes out all these guys, not a scratch on him. Plane explodes, stops. He swerves, parks his car, gets out, and he goes, I think this is yours, Special Agent Hobbs. Are you kidding me? Not a scratch on him, chat. Here's this scene, especially Letty's line. Gets a lot of traction after Crown made a certain post on social media. Oh, yeah, I could definitely see that. And, Hobbs at this point is like, thank you, Toretto. You and your team did a great job. He's like, Hobbs, we ain't no team. We family. It's like, oh, and we then cut. Oh, that's the thing, because Hobbs is like, listen, what do you need from me? What do you request? And he's like, I just need I just need this number. And he says like this random number. Everyone's like, what's this number? But we cut and we're back in LA, chat, and it's the address. It's the numbered address of the Toretto homestead, chat. It's like, oh, we haven't seen this house since Fast and Furious. It's so cool. And they're having a fucking barbecue, chat. We see Mia and Brian. They're hanging out with little baby Jack. Roman and Tej are cooking things on the grill. They're arguing back and forth. We see Han, who is literally crying and drinking in a corner because Gazelle's dead. He's like, it's like, is someone gonna comfort him? And Roman and Pierce are like, hey man, sorry about Gazelle. What do you think you're gonna do now? He's like, I'm gonna go to Tokyo. It's like, no. And we see Dom just grabbing Letty's ass. She's like, I don't know who you are, but I like the way you grab my ass. He goes, I know you do. Eventually, though, we see The Rock with Officer Neves. They're running up. And Roman has this line. He's like, hey, y'all, be sure to protect your baby oil. And he's like, and then The Rock, The Rock is in line. He'll be, be sure to protect that big-ass forehead. And he's like, and we actually see a spit take where Ludacris literally spits out his drink because that was an improv line from The Rock. And Tyrese's expression's like, hey, man, that's not funny. He's so sad. Oh, Lord. And Lucas wasn't faking that spit. That shit, that was real. It was real. Wonderful improv from The Rock. And Tyrese looks so sad. But The Rock shows up there. He's like, hey, Toretto, I got your pardons. You're free. Your records are clear. He's like, Hobbs, you part of the family. You're good people. He's like, I know. And they fucking bro, a handshake. Eventually, Letty, she sees Officer Neves, and she goes over there, and she's like, Officer Neves, I know that you've been taking care of Dom in a sexual way, and I want to thank you. You're a good woman. She's like, that's a good man you got there. He's great. I love him, but he clearly doesn't love me. I'm pregnant. And she's like, I'm just joking. And then she goes over to Dom, and Dom's like, hello, Neves. And she goes, just keep being you, Dom, I guess. I'll see you in Fate of the Furious where I'll be just super disposable. Bye, everybody. And she walks away. And then everyone sits down for a nice family barbecue chat. Roman, he goes for the first piece of chicken. And they're like, oh, shit, you fucking went for the first piece of chicken. You got to say grace. And Roman, he gets a very nice grace. He's like, thank you, God, for this wonderful family. Thank you, God, for the newest edition of this family. Thank you, God, for keeping us fucking alive again. And thank you, God, for fast fucking cars. And boom, chat. Credits come up, Fast and Furious 6. It's like, oh, shit, damn, what a great movie. But it's not over, chat. It's not over, because after this initial credit sequence, we cut, and we are in Tokyo, chat. And we are seeing the events of Tokyo Drift play out before our eyes. Fucking Han is currently speeding away from DK, chat. Donkey Kong, no, the Drift King, with Lucas Black backing him up as well, along with his girlfriend. Little do they know, Chad, little do they know, there's a Cockney accented Jason Statham, Deckard Shaw, who's been following Han for the past several weeks, and he now has the opportunity to take his first step at Revenga. He activates his fucking Karcher with that Norse and rams into Han's car, Chad, flipping it over. And he gets out, Chad, he gets out of the car while Han is just clearly just dying and has all sorts of broken bones. And he gets on his fucking phone. He says, Toretto, you don't know me, but you will. I'm coming for you and your family. And he flips this this lighter into Han's car, and boom, explodes, setting up the events of Furious 7, chap. But that's another movie. This, my friends, is my scene by scene breakdown, chap, for Fast and Furious 6. Great film. Apparently she went off to marry Thor. Yes, she did. Pretty good. Yeah, not bad consolation prize. I didn't see this in a theater, but I can only imagine how the crowds react when they say about that. Was great. It was huge, man. When he pops up and people were like, "Wait, we're in Tokyo?" When I saw this in theaters, people lost their fucking minds. I love this thing. It was amazing, but would have been more amazing if they announced Statham was going to be an F7. Yeah, I mean, at the same time, it'd be like, it just incentivizes people. It just breeds more anticipation. So I totally see why they did it. It's a great, interlude. Introduction to Furious 7. How many general like Dr. Man clearly did. They gave it so great review. Thank you. That's not a great review, Chris. It's too bad I missed out. But oh no, only 2 more movies left. Well, yep, 7, 8, and no, Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw, and I might review Better Luck Tomorrow sometime in the future. I might do that as well. Thank you, sir, baby. Thank you so much. Still say Furious 7 is the best hell sequence. Pretty good. Devin, I already got a Fast 10 or 11 pitch. Fast of the future. Dom and the family goes to important history events and solve time problems. Maybe villains an alter Dom mad with time power and talks with like a time lord from Doctor. That'd be awesome. Do it. Like the boss, thank you for everybody. So F7 takes place before Tokyo Drift. It's part of it takes place before, during, and after. Most of it's after Tokyo Drift, but the initial few minutes takes place before and during. Because then Dom goes to Tokyo, and that's when he like challenges Lucas Black to the race, and he talks with him and talks about Han and stuff. So it's kind of all over the place. Imagine there's no explosions. Never. Needs more Bow Wow. Don't worry, he comes back in Fury 7, a very old Bow Wow. Lowe's Milk comes back with Kenneth Branagh's legs from Wild Wild West. Yay! Corey's saying you guys doing Fast and Furious 2 and 3 on Sunday service because he never seen it. Oh my God. Well, I already know him back to back, shit. I know these movies intimately. Scene by scene by scene by scene. It's fun stuff. Also, I forgot there's like, again, there's so many like little gags in this movie, you might miss them. There's one scene where we see Tej is like, his phone is ringing at one point, and he's getting a call from The Rock, from Hobbs, and his name for Hobbs in the movie on his phone is Samoan Thor, which I think is brilliant. He picks it up, he's like, sup. Love it. Like, there's a lot of great humor in this film. It's a great movie, chat. Like, my only criticism of it, honestly, is, yeah, it's Owen Shaw, it's Luke Evans, and it's not really his fault. Like, what he's like, all the action scenes he's in is cool. It's just him as a villain he doesn't have a lot of personality. Like, the take sequence he's involved in, what he did with, Mia and stuff, and the plane, cool, but, like, him as a character is not that interesting. But, I mean, he's still better than, like, a lot of the villains we've got in the series, so, if I had to rank him, so again, top villain so far, I would say, is still Logic. We're going to go with Logic, chat. Maybe The Rock, Logic, then Hobbs, from, Fast 5. Then, obviously, Gravity, Then we have, I'll put Owen. I'll put Owen Shaw after that. I'll put Owen Shaw, after, Gravity. And the truck driver from the Fast and Furious. Then we have probably like Braga / not Voss. Then I'd go DK, then Johnny Tran, and then, there's Reyes. Reyes is somewhere around there. I put Reyes probably lower than maybe Johnny Tran. And then Crouton from Too Fast, Too Furious. But, like, if I were to give this a rating, chat, like, I would get another full price. But where would I rank this, though, in my Fast and Furious, the saga, chat? What would I do with these first 6 movies? And, it's... Oh, chat, it's hard. Witness me. Look at all these back-to-back raids. Mr. Humminator, thank you for the raid, good sir. Appreciate that. Thank you. Hope you're doing very well, man. Just finished my review for Fast and Furious 6. Trying to think where I would rank this movie. The thing is, chat, like, I really enjoy this. Like, I know some people that don't, but I think it's so much fun. Like, it's dumb. Like, it's dumber than Fast 5. And I could see why people would take points off for that. It's like, okay, I could see it. Like the whole thing with Letty catching Dom in midair. How did he do that? What? You know, but this is a really fun movie. That's the thing. RJA, I say 5, 6, 7 is perfect trilogy. The movie series, not trilogy. Yeah, I agree. No, those are the best movies. They are the best movies. Oh, chat. You know, some people might be mad at me for this, but I think I have to give the number 1 slot, chat, to Fast and Furious 6. Like, I thought Fast 5 would be up there for a good long while, but at least until 7. But I think I got to give it to Fast and Furious. So my rankings of the Fast and Furious movies right now. Mr. How many think of Fast 5 is awesomely stupid, really well shot action. No, it is. Same with 6, though. Like, if I had to rank them, it's hard. It's very hard, but I'm going to do it, chat. I'm going to go Fast and Furious 6 at number 1, Fast 5 at number 2, The Fast and the Furious, the original one, at number 3 right now. Fast and Furious, the 4th one, at, funny enough, the 4th one. Then Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, and then Too Fast, Too Furious, bringing up the rear. Yeah. Thank you for the 5 biddies. Alita, Letty. Yeah, Letty. Michelle Rodriguez was in Alita for like a good 2 minutes. It's making me want to watch it. It's so much fun. RJ, this is your list. It goes 1, 6, 5, 7, 3, 4, 8, 2. Yeah, 4 ranked low. Man, you like Tokyo Drift more? Yeah, Fate of the Furious is the one I'm like kind of curious to watch again because I'm like, I did not really like that movie. I want to give it another shot. But yeah, a lot of people love 1. Gear 4 vs. 2, I would hold in the exact same level as 5 if it wasn't for one thing. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. The score really bugged me. It was like a TV movie-ish to me. Thank you, 5 biddies. The score to 5 is better, I would say. Like, this score, I think, is... I don't remember it. That's a good point. I don't remember the score to this movie. The music in 5 definitely stands out. You know, it has that Portuguese, you know, Brazilian influence, and it really works for that. I mean, it takes place in that country, obviously, so it works. This score is kind of like superfluous. It's like, oh yeah, I guess it had one. You don't remember it. The explosions and the loud noises, I think, cover it up. So that's a good point. Again, I can see, they're so close to each other, but I just really enjoyed this movie. It's a fair point. Mr. Arminier, thank you for 25 Bs. Can't remember if I thank you for the raid last Thursday, but of course, Mr. Arminier. No, thank you. No, thank you for your support. Happy to help you, man. Happy to help you. Thank you, Reserve, for 5 Bs. And apparently, it's the last minute thing because the guy that did the music for 3, 4, and 5, Brent Taylor, couldn't come back because he was busy scoring Iron Man 3 and Thor 2. He's come back for 7, 8, and 9, though. Nice. Cool. Yeah. No, good. No, 7, I remember 7 having a really good score. But yeah, chat. Yeah, I'm. It's been really fun to review these, and I'll continue reviewing them next week, chat. So next week, let you guys know. That'll be it. I mean, I will try to review Better Luck tomorrow. Probably not this upcoming Monday, but the Monday after next. But for next week, chat, in terms of the movie reviews, I will be doing Furious 7, which I've always considered to be my favorite of the franchise. It's an emotional movie, I think, for a lot of people, because I mean, the tragedy around Paul Walker's death and how they say goodbye to him, I think, is actually done extremely well, surprisingly well. It's actually touching. It's like, damn. Fate of the Furious, which I did not like, and I'm like, okay, I've not seen it since it came out. And it's usually kind of ranked low on people's lists, but I want to give it a second shot. And Hobbs and Shaw, which I remember really liking. So those will be the next 3 for next week, chat. Very excited about it. Knowing what we think of the 10 biddies. Ready for Loki? Yep, we're going to be doing the watch party for Loki, chat, in just a second. If you will give me a minute, I'm going to refresh my beverage. I'm going to get some grapes and have some fruit during that, chat. So please entertain yourselves amongst yourselves, and I'll be right back. Stick around. Don't be a buster. Be family.